Hey guys, JK Wargames. So today we're looking at a World War II skirmish game called 148 Tactic. Have to say a massive thanks to WARGAMES for sending this to the channel. So we're going to have a look at what you get in the boxes and how the game plays. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay guys, so we have the American 101st Airborne Division starter pack, and we also have the German 5th Fallschirmjäger Division starter pack. So we'll have a look at the American pack first, and then we'll move on to the Germans. So 148 Tactic focuses on man-to-man combat. So it's not units, it's individual soldiers, and each soldier has their own card which has a stat on it, etc. So we'll have a look more in detail at that in a bit, but let's have a look at what you get inside the box. So I've painted up each box. So first of all, the 101st Airborne come in resin plastic. So as you can see, I've painted them up. So you get 4 guys. This guy kneeling down is the NCO, and these were fantastic to paint, really nice miniatures. And we've got a guy aiming his rifle. So we've got 4 guys, the 101st Airborne, which look fantastic. You then get 4 terrain pieces. So we've got some logs here. Now I've just used contrast paints to paint these all up. We've got a sort of mud crater bunker here. And then you've got these 2, what they call in the game donut terrain. So basically if you get into contact with this terrain, you can stand your guy inside, there's a space for them. And then we get the 4 cards. So as you can see, they're all named. So you've got John Kelly, who's the NCO. We've then got Dean Stanton. We've got Frank Williams and Harry Lee. And as you can see on the card there are different stats. Then we've got action tokens. The game works on action tokens. We've got American dice. We've got wound shot markers and opportunity fire markers. And you get loads of these in the box. So, as you might imagine, the game being called 148 Tactic, the scale of the game is 148. And because we're not using units, the starter packs come with 4, so it's 4 versus 4, which is ideal for starting. You can have as many as you like soldiers. You could go up to 10, 20 even if you wanted. But there's also tank combat, which is a separate rule book. Now, also included in the boxes are a quick start guide to how to play the game, which I'll show you in a bit. You can also buy the rule book separately, but the starter guide that comes with this covers everything you need to know to be able to play the game. So that is just a look at the Americans, and UK wise, this is about 37 quid, which is fantastic value. And each starter pack has 4 pieces of terrain in it. And you can use other terrain with the game, but these are just really nice that come with the game. So what we'll do is we'll have a look at the German starter pack, and then we'll start to go into how the game's played. Okay, and here's the German starter pack, the Fallschirmjäger. So let's have a look at these guys. So these guys come in metal, and they're fantastic. So I painted them up in the Fallschirmjäger colours. So we got a guy with an STG 44, guy with a rifle, our NCO holding an MP40, and then we've got our machine gunner. You get German dice. We then get 4 pieces of terrain. So we've got sandbags with oil crates on them, some brickwork, and again these are the donut terrain that you guys can stand in. Some more ruined building there, and then a ruined brick wall. Also we have the cards. So as you can see, William Becker, Walter Müller, Jan Alder and Hans Vogel. And again, tokens, I forgot to say earlier, we get frag grenades and blast grenades as well, which are really fun to use in the game. So that's everything you get inside the German starter pack. So more than enough to play the games, because you only need 4v4. So let's have a look at how the game plays. So as you can see here, guys, each guy has a card, and the card has stats on them. So this symbol here means his movement. So this guy can move 4 inches. This symbol means opportunity fire. So if he's got line of sight, he can lay down an opportunity fire marker. And this means aim. So he can use an action to get 2 extra dice when firing. Then down here, it says shots 2. This means this guy can fire twice, up to twice. That's his limit. At long range, he gets 1 dice. Short range, he gets 2. Shows the weapon he has and the hand-to-hand amount of dice he's going to roll. And this 4 here is his action limit for the turn. Now the turn works with action tokens. Each side gets 5 action tokens. So you may play an action token to move him 4 inches. You could play another action token to move him again. So he could move 8 inches with 2 action tokens. And remember, he's only got a limit of 4. And your 5 action tokens are to activate everyone that you have, your 4 guys. It's not 5 action tokens for each guy, it's 5 action tokens in total. Now what you can also do is keep an action token, as many as you want, to react to your player. Now the reason you may want to react is if you receive fire, you can use an action token to use an in cover marker. So you put that next to your guy and he's harder to hit. And even if you're behind terrain, you can still play that and make it even harder to hit, and you can make it impossible to hit. But you have to spend 1 action token, at least 1 action token. So you could potentially have 4 action tokens to react, but you're probably not going to do that because you want your guys to do things. So the other thing, he spent 2 action tokens to move. We're going to spend an action token to fire. And firing is pretty simple. Everything hits on a 4. So let's say this guy's firing, and he's firing at our American guy in the open. He's going to roll a dice, hit him on a 4 because he's not in cover. If he's behind any type of cover, it goes to a 5. If he reacted and played an in cover marker, it now goes to a 6. Now long range is anything over 10 inches. So as long as you can see, you can fire, it's unlimited range. If you're within 10 inches, your short range is 2. So he's within 10, he gets to roll 2 dice. So he's going to roll these 2 dice, needing a 6 because this guy's reacted. Well, in fact, let's say he's not reacted. It's normally a 4, he's behind cover, he needs 5. So we roll the dice and he's scored a 6. Now, if you hit anyone, they gain a wound shock marker. That goes next to your guy. He is wounded and basically he's going to miss the next turn. And then what happens is his card is flipped. So you have his card here. As soon as he's wounded, you flip it and his stats are now reduced. So instead of moving 4, he can now only move 3. And his action limit is reduced to 3. Now, anytime he receives another hit when he's wounded, he will be killed in action. So let's say he took another shot and he rolled a 6 or a 5 because he needs a 5. He's now killed in action. His second hit with the wound shock. You don't remove soldiers from the game. You lay them down and they provide cover. So someone else could come in, say this was out in the open, he can actually get cover off of that guy, which is pretty cool. Now, if he hadn't been shot again, he misses the next turn, and when it comes back to your turn again, you remove the wound shot marker. However, the card remains flipped, and he counts as being wounded, and if he's shot again, he will die. So you really need to try and protect your guys. That's why it's important to try and save some tokens to react. So the reason you lay that wound shot marker is to represent that he's missing a turn. When you take it away, he's still wounded because the card shows that it's flipped. And if he was to die, we would flip that card just like that to show he'd been killed. Now, the other thing he can do is he could aim. So he's spent 3 action tokens, 2 to move 8 inches and get into the sandbags. And he's used another one to fire, and he's going to use his last one because he's got an action limit of 4. So he's going to use that last AT to aim. And that adds 2 more dice. So he's got 2 dice at close range. Another 2 dice gives him 4 dice in total because he's aiming. And then he'd roll those. He's been wounded once. He needs a 5 and he got a 6, so that would kill him. You only need the 1 hit. Even if you roll 2 5s, you wouldn't hit. Now, the only way you can kill someone within 1 shot is by rolling double 6s. So you need 2 6s, like so, and that is counted as a headshot, and this guy would be eliminated straight away. So you've got to be quite lucky to get a headshot. Now, the other thing he could have done is laid some opportunity fire. So he's got line of sight to this guy. He places opportunity fire next to him or wherever he likes. So on his card, his opportunity fire radius is 2. That means 2 inches. So 2 inches from the center of this token is opportunity fire. As soon as this guy tries to move, the opportunity fire acts. So just say he tried to move over the terrain. Because he was within 2 inches of this German now gets a free shot, doesn't cost an action, rolling 1 dice, needing a 6. So he rolls it, and we actually rolled a 6, and that guy would now be wounded. So it's a way of stopping your opponent from moving. So this is only moved if this guy does something else. So if we come to his next turn and he fired or moved somewhere else, this is removed. So that is the main basics. So you've got firing, moving, opportunity fire, aiming. We won't have a look at hand-to-hand combat. Basically, you're rolling dice to their number, and you know, it's the same thing. Get 2 hits on a guy to kill him. Now, you don't need much terrain because you've got 8 pieces of terrain if you get both starter sets. But I've been playing with some bolt action terrain as well, which is great. So let's have a look at this guy. Let's say he's used an action token. He moves into contact with this. He can now move in there for free. He doesn't have to use an action token, and he counts now as being in cover. So he's in cover. He'll be harder to hit. So those are the main basics. There are grenades. So there's a frag grenade and a blast grenade. Blast ignores cover. So let's say this guy had a grenade, and not everyone gets grenades. He can throw it up to 10 inches. If he throws it further than 10 inches, 15, it could potentially be moved. You have to roll a dice, and potentially your opponent could move it somewhere else. But let's say he's within 10 inches. The grenade lands there, and it's strength 4. So you're going to roll 4 dice, and it's got a 2-inch radius. So if there was another guy here, it's going to get everyone within 2 inches. You would roll 4 dice, needing 4s because a blast grenade ignores cover. So there's no cover from it. You roll your dice. We've got 2 hits. We've got a 6 and a 5. Hits are then distributed out. So he would be wounded, and this guy would be wounded. However, if this guy wasn't here, this guy would take both hits and be killed. So grenades can be pretty brutal. Frag grenades don't ignore cover. So they work the same, but you'd be hitting on a 5 because they were behind the cover. So that's the basics. So there are a few ways to win the game. The basic scenario is that you have to take out more than half your enemies. So if you look on the card, these guys are worth points. This guy's worth 6. So you need over half of your total points. And I think the starter packs are 27 points per side. The other things you can do is make up some scenarios. So capture the objective, capture the flag, you know, lots of things you can do with it. So this is just a very brief overview of how the game plays. I will be publishing a video where we go through the whole game, seeing how to play it properly. So again, a massive thanks to WARGAMES for sending this to the channel. I've had great fun with it. I'm going to leave the link to the website, guys, for WARGAMES, and you can also get this at Wayland Games in the UK. And it's definitely worth checking out. It's a fantastic skirmish game, and the tank combat I haven't seen yet, but I have read a little bit and it looks to be fantastic. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.